prayers.
Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness has established a parliament for the youth of this great country, to advocate and promote for the welfare of the youth and the society, let thy blessing descend upon us here in the house assembled. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. Amen. Thank you. You may receive yourself.
Communication from the chair.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, the National Youth Parliament, the Gambia, members of the National Youth Parliament of the Gambia, the Honorable Majority Leader of the National Assembly of the Gambia, Honorable Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, the clerks of the National Assembly of the Gambia, the Executive Director of the National Youth Council, members of the Diplomatic Corps, staff of the National Assembly, NYP Secretariat here present, partners here present, civil society organizations, members of the press, and all other protocols duly and respectfully observed, good morning to you all. It is with great honor that I deliver the speech to this honorable House in the event marking the first ordinary session of the National Youth Parliament, the Gambia, in the 2023 legislative year. This auspicious occasion marks a significant juncture in our quest to represent the voice of young people of the Gambia and create the avenue for their collective participation in all decision-making processes. A year ago, we were gathered here for the inaugural session of the National Youth Parliament after the completion of the NYP reformation agenda, which emanated from our dedication to improve the membership, the structure, and the operation of the National Youth Parliament. Today, we reconvene to build up from that milestone, to amplify our voices in the advancement of the affairs of the youth, their empowerment, protection, and inclusion. Our agenda is not just about setting goals. It's about forging a clear path for our nation's future, one that is anchored in our unwavering commitment to addressing the most pressing issues facing our youth and our country as a whole. Our discussion and this dedication here would set the tone for a future that we can all be proud of. Our core focus in this year's session aligns with the recovery-focused National Development Plan, the Sustainable Development Goals, the Africa Youth Charter, the National Youth Policy, and other development frameworks that specially address or generally mainstream the affairs of the youth. We will discuss, among other things, the youth and the National Development Plan, migration, sexual and reproductive health and rights, women in leadership and governance, youth in peace building, amongst others. We are gathered here today, we are concerned that the youth of our nation are leaving our source in search of opportunities elsewhere. The big question is, why? What is driving this exodus? It is our solemn duty to find answers to these questions and to create a Gambia where our youth don't have to look beyond our borders for a brighter future. We will seek comprehensive solutions that make the Gambia an attractive and prosperous place for our youth. Ladies and gentlemen, the empowerment of women and girls is not just a cause, but it is a cause of high cadre. We believe in equality of all and the potential for our women and girls to assume leadership roles. The strength of our nation lies in the unity, and when our women rise to their full potential, the Gambia will rise to new heights. We are committed to championing gender equality and ensuring our girls have the same opportunities and access as our boys. Our country's future is inexorably linked to the peace and security. As young leaders of the Gambia, we are resolute in our commitment to building a more peaceful, just, and equitable nation. We understand that peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It as well includes the presence of justice, equality, and efficient democratic governance. We want to commend government's effort in recent prioritization of the post-TRRC bills. This effort would go a long way in solidifying the gains of our traditional justice process and address the most urgent needs of the victims. We are hoping that such effort is extended in the reintroduction of the draft constitution, a process we believe is the fulcrum of our transitional justice. We therefore call on government, esteemed partners, and all relevant stakeholders to join us in prioritizing our youth. The destiny of our nation hinges on how well we empower youth. We must understand that we are not just leaders of tomorrow, we are the leaders of today. As the youth of the Gambia, we are primed to play an indispensable role in the development and progress of our beloved nation. Then let us remember that our young parliamentarians have engaged in exhaustive consultations with their constituencies. They have canvassed our beautiful nation, listening to the voices and concerns of our fellow citizens. This practice ensures that our deliberations and decisions are firmly grounded in the needs and aspirations of the people that we represent. As we gather here today, let us harness our collective energy, creativity, and innovation to ignite transformational change for the Gambia. Together, we can lay the foundation for a more prosperous, equitable, and peaceful future for all Gambians. In conclusion, I want to express our sincerest thanks and appreciation to the youth parliamentarians and the NYP Secretariat for the enormous work you have been doing to address the needs of young people of the Gambia. Your commitment towards national development is a special feature to reckon with. Please permit me to extend our sincerest gratitude to the National Assembly for all the support and guidance you've rendered to us. We are very grateful for your mentorship. We want to as well express our sincerest thanks to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the National Youth Council for your utmost consistency in supporting and collaborating with us. We are honored by how much you've committed to the affairs of young people and the execution of the mandate of the National Youth Parliament. We thank all our partners who have, in one way or the other, supported the affairs and administration of the National Youth Parliament. We thank everyone here present for attending this auspicious occasion, and we pray that we have a successful session. Clerk, you may proceed.
Statement. The official welcome remark by the Deputy Speaker of the National Youth Parliament.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members of the House, National Assembly members here present, Honorable Ministers, Clerk and staff of the National Assembly, partners, members of the Diplomatic Corps, young people, ladies and gentlemen, and all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Welcome to the National Youth Parliament Ordinary Session 2023. Every year, we sit at least once to represent and amplify the voices of the young people of the Gambia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the National Youth Parliament has a membership of 53 constituency representatives, 7 nominated women from the various regions, 2 nominated representatives from the persons with disability, Speaker and Deputy Speaker, making it a total of 64 parliamentarians. We have a landmark of 47% women representation. These numbers show our strong stance in the inclusion of all sectors in society in the work we do. The National Youth Parliament operates across all regions with regional clerks who assist the Secretariat in the administration of our rules. We are happy to announce that we have secured a new National Youth Parliament office to smoothen our operations and expand the work we do. This space is not only for the National Youth Parliament, but all the youth of this country. Feel free to walk in anytime and use it as a resource hub to diagnose the problems affecting your communities and provide sustainable solutions. It is important to remind you all that the National Youth Parliament belongs to every young person in this country, and we must take ownership of it and its development. Transitioning from a membership-based organization, we have created a medium by which every young person that is involved in youth work is eligible for elections conducted by the independent electoral commissions. The National Youth Parliament sittings serve as a platform where grassroots voices are heard, policies are influenced to support youth development and social sector investment, including education and skills development for the young people. This gathering will provide an opportunity to engage with young parliamentarians to gain deeper understanding of our aspirations while we actively participate in discussions on youth-centric policies and programs. Central in our call is for us as a country to look at the 60% beyond numbers. These are human faces that drives the development of this country. And with better opportunities and human capital development, we will be able to do more. Let's harness the demographic dividend as a country. We call on the President, the Executive, and the National Assembly to make young people a national priority, as this will enable proper resource allocation and investment for the development of the young people. Welcome to the National Youth Parliament Ordinary Session 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, for the welcoming statement. Clerk, you may proceed.
Statements. Introductory remark by the Clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Mamadou Jackson. The Right Honorable Majority Leader of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia, Honorable Members of the National Assembly here present, the Right Honorable Minister for Gender, Executive Director of the National Youth Council, Executive Director of the President International Awards, of course, my brother and friend, advisor to the President of the Republic on Youth Matters. On behalf of the Clerk of the National Assembly, it is our esteemed pleasure to once again welcome the National Youth Parliament to the chambers of the National Assembly for the ordinary session in the 2023 legislative year. We have been working closely, and the results of that work is what is being manifested this morning. The National Assembly is of the conviction that Parliament shapes our country. Parliament enables the country to be progressive, to be peaceful, and to be sustainable. And for that being the case, it is important that the entire country, more so the young people, become aware of the function, the mandate, the power, the dynamics of parliamentary work, because that will enable them to become interested citizens in the art of governance. And it is for this reason that the leadership of the National Assembly, under the guidance of the Right Honorable Speaker, charged the office of the Clerk as the technical Children Parliament and the National Assembly of the Gambia will continue to collaborate to solidify the gains and explore new opportunities. On that note, Honorable Speaker, we have the distinguished honor to thank you once again, and I'm not sure we should welcome you because this is your house. Play by the rules and enjoy yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful statement on behalf of the Clerk of the National Assembly. We thank you for your continued support and collaboration. Clerk, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. Next, we might want to have a statement from the Executive Director of the National Youth Council, Mr. Alhaji Jaju.
The Honorable Speaker of the National Youth Parliament and the Majority Leader of the National Assembly of the Gambia and other honorable members here present, the Honorable Minister for Gender, Advisor to the President, KCD Babu Sala from the ITC, Pamalik, and all other friends of the National Youth Parliament and by extension, friends of young people of the Gambia. I think it's my utmost pleasure to be a part and parcel of this year's sitting of the National Youth Parliament. As the Speaker rightly mentioned, the National Youth Parliament has over the years gone through lots of transformation. And this has resulted in the sitting that was held last year. And here again in 2023, we are having another sitting. We are hoping that this certainly will be a continuation of the restructuring that has been done. And we will not sit down again, and have the same sort of challenges that we have had in the past, resulting in the Parliament not having sittings for probably a while. But we hope that all the work that we have done together, we will continue to bear those fruits, and the National Youth Parliament will continue to function as expected. As the representative of the Clerk rightly mentioned, the Children's Parliament and the Youth Parliament, these are quite important structures that we have in this country, and I think we should all work together to ensure we are able to promote them and move them up to the next level. This only helps in terms of enhancing young people and children's participation in the welfare and, of course, in the development of this country. I was not to make a statement, but I'm happy to have been invited to deliver a statement. Please, young parliamentarians, yes, these are sittings that we have. We have no legislative mandate, yes. But the discussions that we are going to have within this hall over the next 2-3 days, let us please ensure we give it our best. The position paper that comes out, we want to assure all of you that from the Ministry to the National Youth Council, we will work with you to ensure that the aspirations that we all have for young people of this country are met. We have a responsibility, and we will work with you to ensure this responsibility is fulfilled. I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Executive Director, for your statement and for your consistent support. Clerk, you may proceed.
Statement. Keynote address by the Honorable Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Honorable Fatou Kinte, on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports.
Good. The Majority Leader and Speaker and Member of the National Assembly for Kantora District, National Assembly Member for Banjul North, and other National Assembly members here present, the Advisor to the President on youth issues, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and members of the National Youth Parliament, the Director, President International Award, the Director, National Youth Council, the country representative of ITC, the media, all protocols duly and respectfully observed. The Minister of Youth and Sport, Honorable Bakari Waibaji, is not here. He's on leave and is out of the country, and had asked me to deliver this statement on his behalf. It is his statement that I'm delivering. He's not here in person, but I have no doubt that he's with us spiritually, because issues of this parliament are very, very important to him. I'm now reading his statement. It is my singular honor and joy this morning to join all of you in the National Youth Parliament 2023 sittings. Allow me to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you as members of the National Youth Parliament, representing your various constituencies and regions. I am confident that you will serve in your various capacities with diligence and dedication. I want to assure you of my full support and that of the ministry at all times during your tenure in office.
to welcome you and wish you well in your 2 to 3 days engagement. Having said that, the role and responsibility given to me is just to give an opening statement. I want to seize this opportunity to thank your leadership for according me the opportunity to have an interface with you, to come and add value to the mandate given to you by Gambians. The importance of this youth assembly cannot be overemphasized. Noting the need, the importance of youth engagement in development. And of course, the topic you're discussing today is very apt. Youth in peace building process. This parliament serving as an advocacy for irregular migration. This topic couldn't have come at a better time, where as a nation, we are really overwhelmed with illegal migration. This avenue will form a forum to listen to divergent views, dissenting opinions. At the end of the day, come up with a resolution to advise government and relevant stakeholders to address the menace of this illegal migration. Thus, the need for us to come to sit in these hollow chambers. We want to thank your partners, the Malayan Ministry, for the support given to you to have this interface. One thing I've learned as a parliamentarian, my first 5 years and this second 5 years that I'm in, I've interacted and mingled with like-minded people. Some of you come from different backgrounds. Please, I implore you, learn from each other. This is the fastest learning opportunity you can have. Some of you come from different environments, different fields, different specialities. So when you interact, you brainstorm, you come out with concrete solutions. Amongst you here, you have economics. Amongst you, you have social sciences. Amongst you, you have agriculturists. The list goes on. So the more you interact, the more you learn from each other, the best comes out of you, out of yourselves. So I want to recognize for the fact that this avenue is created for our youths in the country to have a platform where they could dialogue and be champions of peace building, be as orators, advocates in terms of illegal migration. I don't want the discussion to only stay in these hollow chambers, but carry it on to your constituency. Be the mouthpiece there. Be the peace breaker there. Be the person convincing your fellow colleagues down there, not to embark on this dangerous journey. Having said that, Parliament is very pivotal in the sense that when the society is in shambles, the hope of democracy lies in Parliament. And you are here to enrich the democracy, to make sure that the voice of the voiceless are heard here. The voice of the weak are listened to. So it's a responsibility, it's an opportunity as well. It's also a privilege given to you to come and serve, to represent your fellow youths. Honorable Speaker, lastly, I want to recognize the issue of diplomacy. It has now come to the limelight that Parliament also could play a pivotal role in parliamentary diplomacy. Connect to your other sister parliaments, youth parliaments around the region and beyond to enrich yourself, to better help you to execute your mandate. And lastly, I would advise you to try as much as you can to be apolitical. Because if you associate yourself with politics, it might ruin the very ideas. It might negate the very thinking of bringing this youth parliament together. Do not allow it to be used by politicians. You have a mandate, you have a role to play, and your roles are clear in your mandate. So try as much as you can to be apolitical, not to involve yourself in any party politics, as it will ruin the very fabrics. On that note, I have the single honor and privilege to declare this session open. Thanks so much for indulgence.
Thank you so much, Honorable Majority Leader, for that wonderful statement. We are quite honored that you made mention of the issue of being non-partisan. This is a non-negotiable clause in our standing orders, to an extent that the moment you are discovered to be partisan, you automatically lose your seat. It doesn't even require a voting from the House, because we are strictly a non-partisan youth organization. Please extend our sincerest thanks and appreciation to the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly and the entire leaders of the National Assembly for the wonderful support and assistance that we've been receiving. Thank you so much once again. Clerk, you may proceed.
Motion. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the motion for the government to prioritize youth in all aspects of the recovery-focused National Development Plan 2023-2027, moved by Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Assalamu alaikum. Honorable Speaker, I stand on standing order 14. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do consider and adopt the motion for the government to prioritize youth in all aspects of the recovery-focused National Development Plan 2023 to 2027.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Any seconder? Honorable, I cannot see your tag, sorry. Honorable Member for Lower Flood West.
Good morning, fellow honorable members. I, Honorable Alpha Yahya Bangura, stand to second the motion which says, being resolved that the August gathering consider and adopt the motion for government to prioritize youth in all aspects of the recovery-focused National Development Plan 2023 to 2027. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Parliament do consider the resolution on the government to prioritize youth in all aspects of the recovery-focused National Development Plan from 2023 to 2027. Those in favor say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Therefore, honorable members, at this juncture, I would now open the floor for the debates. Any honorable member who may want to contribute to the debate can do so by raising their tags to be called upon. The honorable member for Serekunda, the mover of the motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. In this moment, I would like to bring to your notice that I would love to invoke the Standing Order 23 so that I can make reference on my papers on this matter.
You may proceed.
Thank you very much, the great Honorable Speaker. Honorable members of this House, we are back again. And this time around, we are not here just to talk about the matters, but this time around is more on action. And this is the reason why we are here. Because today, as youths of this country, if you are sent to the parliament to represent the majority of the population of this country, we must not just come to talk about the issues. And when we are done here, we return back to our comfort zones and wait for others sitting to talk about the issues. But more so, we must talk about the actions and make sure that we are able to implement them at constituency level. So today on the motion that the government should prioritize the youth in all aspects in the National Development Plan is a fundamental issue and of great importance to us as youths, knowing fully well that we are no longer the future of this country, but we are both the present and the legacy of this country. Honorable members, we have it that in 2017 to 2021, a national development plan has been established. And before going there, honorable members, what do we mean when we say national development plan? To make it short, national development plan is moy neka lo xamantene mom la government bi tegal pour nous focuser pour muy doxal sun rew ci kanam. That's what the national development simply means. It simply means all stakeholders must focus on these issues so that we as a country would be able to see ourselves in the development of this country. And today, that's what we are going to talk about. But also, before we talk about the recent National Development Plan, we must make some reflections on the past National Development Plan. In 2017 to 2021, which we have this stubborn virus that came and disrupted the agenda, COVID-19, and most of the agendas were not able to be achieved. And today, a report on the past National Development Plan has it that almost 43% was achieved. But if I stand here today to talk about the aspects of these developments that were achieved, personally, I would not feel that much proud. Though we would say that the government have tried and stakeholders have also tried. But we all have seen what the youths are going through in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable members of this house, we all see this day by day. Whenever we have interactions with 10 people out of 9 will tell you, boy, dem len ngeen doxal sen affaire government. Ñun suñu loxo neeku ci digal. Ñu ngey dem ci nar bi wala ñu séti gal. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members of this house, that is disheartening. Because if the present and the future of this country were able to respond in such a manner, that speaks volume. That speaks more than the statistics that we are seeing in the internet. That speaks more than the researches that we have made. That speaks more than the workshops that we do attend every day. Honorable members, today we have moved from there, and we have in 2017 to 2021 came up with a very important tool that we have contributed as a National Youth Parliament to make sure that we are able to drive that particular agenda, which is the draft constitution, which would have been a milestone in making sure that our affairs as youth would have been a fundamental focus point that this government would have looked into to able to solve our problem. And we spent our resources, we spent our time, we spent our money, our taxpayers' money, those that are in the market, those that are in the streets, in the narcos, their money, we put it into that draft constitution, and when it came to this house, it disappears. I don't know whether it went to sleep, whether they put it in the bin, but these are things that we must talk about, because it is important that we talk about it. And that is an achievement that we have seen in the National Development Plan that has just been moved, and now we are moving to another one. Honorable members, in this gathering today, we are talking about the new National Development Plan that has been made through consultation across the country by consulting stakeholders, CSOs, partners, and other stakeholders that are in the community. These consultations have gone across the country. 120 wards of our country have been consulted on this National Development Plan. Now that it has to be implemented, when I looked into the document, it was beautiful. I can tell you it's a beautiful girl. But whether the girl will grow up to produce the fruit that we look up to is the question that we must ask today. I would plead with you that you go and visit the National Development Plan. It is out there, the draft. Whether it will be adopted, I am sure it will be adopted. But whether the implementation will be done properly is the question that we must ask ourselves. And when we leave here, we must pursue that very, very well. So today, honorable members, this National Development Plan talks about a lot of factors, especially the youth, which we are here today to talk about. And when we talked about the youth regarding the National Development Plan, as the chair of Youth Employment and Migration Committee, Honorable Abdullah of Serekunda, I want to acknowledge that what I have seen, you don't need to go for research to see this. Even when we were making this consultation, some of my constituency members, I can tell you this for free because the councillor, luckily, the day that he was to elect his sub-ward committee, I was present, and there were no youths that were present to be elected into this executive of the subcommittee ward of Bartes. And I have to get into the constituency to call youths to come and attend this particular meeting. And I met with one of the youths. And when I asked the youth, boy, Nakala council will elect a committee for the ward development. You know, boy, yen yalen mom dikabi, jellen dikabi. Ñun talun ko. In fact, nuge gene ci dikabi. We want to become citizens of other countries than this country. And this is scary because now our people are leaving this country, attracted by the sea to leave. And yesterday, at my workplace in Bakau, the first arts institution in the country, the Arts Academy, I met with a friend that told me that football team, Bakau, happy football team.
Point of order.
Where is the point of order coming from?
Honorable member.
Honorable member for Sabasanja. Yes, or you might resume your seat. What's your point of order?
Yeah, section 24 of the NYP standing orders, clause 1. Every member shall restrict his or her observation to the subject on the discussion. And I believe honorable member for Serekunda is out of the discussion.
Thank you, honorable member, for that point of order. Honorable member for Serekunda, you might not want to encroach onto the other motions that are set for other times of the parliament. Please kindly stick to the motion at hand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We will not argue on that one. Honorable member, remember, we are talking about national development. We are not restricted. Please understand. That's why I explained. National development is talking about the agenda of the country. And this migration issue is an agenda of the country. Maybe perhaps you have not read the National Development Plan. I encourage you to read it.
I do.
So these are issues that we are talking about in the issue of migration. It's captured there. And we are saying that the government should prioritize on the issue of migration. And what is the problem with this? Why are people leaving? After we will give these recommendations to as well. It's because there is no employment opportunity in this country. People are running away. As much as youths, we need to also take responsibility in creating employment opportunities, but we know how the country is. Here is hand to mouth. So we cannot create that much employment opportunity for our people. Some people will dare destiny and try to sacrifice their life to establish certain institutions that will create employment opportunities. But our people do not have employment opportunities. And that is the reality. And our people are leaving. And soon, our women that are staying here will not have husband. The last time I was watching the committee and I have seen that too as well. So it's a crisis that we are also seeing in the peace and security of this country. Honorable members.
Honorable member, may I ask you to withdraw that statement? Please. The issue of employment might not be the reason for anyone to seek your husband. As an honorable house, we might want to avoid that.
I withdraw, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
I withdraw. I withdraw.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker. If the honorable member for Serekunda will allow me to observe him. Thank you. So on the aspect of lack of opportunities within the country, I am a youth that is fluctuating between different sectors. And I can tell you this, that there are a lot of opportunities in this country. The problem one might suggest is that we lack a lot of motivation.
Honorable member, please sit down. You are wasting my time. Yes, as I was saying, it is the issue of the migration I was referring to, but I've withdrawn, Honorable Speaker. The issue of the migration, men migrating, will cause those women that are here not to have a husband in the long run, but I have withdrawn. So moving forward, Honorable Speaker, in the National Development Plan, we have seen the steps that the government have outlined in solving the problems of the youth when it comes to the area of sport, when it comes to the entrepreneurship, when it comes to employment opportunities. We have seen them. It's really beautiful. But honestly speaking, in this aspect, where is the government going to get the money to implement this is the other focus that we are talking about. In a country that based on tax, and I can tell you almost 3/4 of its budget is from donors and the international community. It's scary, Honorable Speaker, because that simply means our country has no future. How would you put this? Now, if you yourself as an individual, you are depending on the person that is in the next house to determine your breakfast. If the person did not provide the breakfast, what would you do? That simply means you will die of hunger. And from there, you will die. And that's where the country stands. If we are still depending on donors and international bodies to feed the projects that we have put for the well-being and the future of this country, then, honorable members, this country is doomed. And recommendations are here to make sure that we will not depend in the future on international donors and fundings outside. We will bring it, because today is a day of action and solutions, not problems. Honorable member of this house, we also have to look into the National Development Plan in the aspect that we are now losing our security. Because we have seen what has happened recently in our country, that 2 policemen were killed. I will not dwell on the issue. But when you look at the statistic internationally, it's telling you that our fragility itself from 2017 up to now has decreased, has increased rather. From 76, now is 80.5. That simply means me and you, Honorable Speaker, we are not secure. Security must be looked into, because development cannot go in the absence of security. Peace must prevail, and we must do that. Honorable Speaker, to fast track on this issue of National Development Plan, and we want the government to really prioritize the issue of the youth in all aspects. We are saying that in this beautiful girl called the National Development Plan, we want the government to now get into action. We want the government to make sure that they are able to establish or to get the youths lands to get into the poultry farming. Poultry farming is a solution to solve the unemployment rate in this country. I am telling you for free. This is a free gift to the government to also implement. When we get this land, and we have lands across the country, and we have youths that are already into the poultry farming, we have seen it. When you go from KM down to URA, people are engaged into poultry farming. Poultry farming is a way of...
Honorable member, I might advise that you shorten your deliberation so that we can have the opportunity to hear other honorable members on this subject.
Thank you very much. 2-3 points, we are done on the recommendation. We also are saying that in the recommendations to prioritize the youths in all aspects is to also give our people that are in the agricultural sector that opportunity, that resources, like the budget of the agriculture should be also looked into. And this time, not to just give it to them and they start to get cash, but no, let us implement them. Let us see them implementing it. Not get into too much workshop. We have been doing a lot of workshops. Let us get into the implementation and we start to eat what we grow in this country. We want to eat it and create industries like mango. Play mango football at Orange. Let us get the industry that will be able to manufacture our orange juice, our mango juice, and Syria. From now on, we will solve our problem. The sports, my people in Serekunda are good footballers. We have seen Ali, we have seen Jallo, that are scored for the Gambia. You know, it's from my constituency, for your information. This is $1 billion area that can solve the problem of this country. And our youth, all of them, I can tell you, are into the sport area. Give them the opportunity. In my constituency, there are people that are there that need just a class, old class in Serekunda. The school itself is denying them the access to that class to be able to train these people on boxing. I will also look into that. The minister is hearing me. I will come to your office after this sitting. From there also, honorable member, I want us to look into the creative industry. The internet is another way of creating massive employment opportunity. Look at TikTok. How TikTok is paying people. Look at YouTube. How YouTube is paying people. Are we sleeping in this country? Look at the creative industry, poetry, drama, painting, you know, crafting. There's a lot of money. The last time, there was an exhibition in UK by a Nigerian man, and the painting was costing 1.2 million pounds. That is the budget of this entire country there. For 50 years, I am telling you for free. Basket Mouth, a comedian, is earning every year $6.7 million US. Search it, those that are making reference. You can see it there. This is a lot of money. We have Bright Star Entertainment, we have Home of Talents, we have a lot of groups here that are doing things in the creative industry. The Arts Academy, the first arts institution that I personally established, is here. We are doing it. People must get into the creative industry so that we can create employment opportunities. Today we are not here to talk, but we are here for actions. And any honorable member that have to rise today, and from last sitting you didn't do anything, don't talk here. We are not here to joke, not point of order. If you think today I'll be leaving the parliament, I'm not leaving, I'm here. I am not. So we are here to make sure that we are able to get things done. Let us get things done. Honorable member, I don't want to waste time, but I will conclude and say the great words of the great man, Julius Nyerere. Said ekulu ni mahali patakatiku. He said in Swahili that the State House is a holy place. Today, honorable members, I am telling you, the National Assembly is a holy place. This is a mosque for us, honorable members. We don't come here to joke. We don't come here to play drama. We come here because we are representing the youths of this country. And we should not joke with it. We should not play football with it. My son cannot grow in this country and come and start, you know, advocating the same advocacy that I was doing. No, I will not see that. I will die than to see that. And this, me and you will fight out of this house if you are not doing the right thing. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of the
Honorable member.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Honorable member for Combo South.
Alimma kwe yasate minlo fankum alakate. I want to use this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to grant me that opportunity to take reference from my research materials.
Please go ahead.
From the late VP, he said, we must be ready to get it right by doing what is right. And we cannot miss what to get it right. Considering this powerful statement, the National Development Plan, Recovery Focus, Pillar 5, that focus more on the youth empowerment. From the south of the Southerners, the Combo South plays that pivotal role to provide continuous nutrition for the entire community and beyond the country. For that being the case, there are a lot of opportunities coming down from the agricultural point of view and also the blue economy that can be driven from the ozone. But unfortunately, what is currently happening calls for a concern. One of those concerns is that the juvenile fishing. Gambia, we are known to produce fish that supplies the hinterland equally. Some is also used to export for foreign exchange. But unfortunately, if you look at the proliferation of the fish milling companies, the catch out is becoming an issue. As a result, the size of bonga fish is now being put in the threat. In a situation that what we were used to know is because of this proliferation of unregulated fishing, this is definitely disturbing the industry. Equally, looking at the agricultural production, South has this ability to serve as a food basket for this country, more especially in terms of vegetable production. Climatical conditions have supported Combo South so long as we live in West Coast. But unfortunately, with the proliferation of the real estate, all the arable lands have been turned to human residents. So this is a serious situation, considering the fact that now the way the world is moving, we must try to do things on our own in order to take charge of our own food basket. But unfortunately, we don't have any land use policy that will demarcate to us that here can be a residential purpose, here for agricultural purpose, here for other purpose. Unfortunately, even the hard men, now they find it very difficult to have their cattle well fed from the environment. What happened? The cattle will even come down as far as encroaching human residents. So these are some of the problems that the people of Southerners are equally facing. If you also look at the proliferation of fishing trailers, I had this opportunity to be part of the National Assembly Select Committee on Environment. But the level of complaints that we receive from the artisan fishermen, it calls for a concern. These fishing trailers, they are not allowed to mine around nautical mine, non-nautical mine. But unfortunately, they dwell down to even they dwell down to 5 nautical mile, causing a lot of damages. So this is a serious concern. And it's that artisan fishermen who are responsible for supplying the proteinous food across the country. Most of these trailers, they will export their product. So these are all problems that we need to take into consideration. South also play a very important role in terms of developing sport. But unfortunately, we were able to have 2 divisional teams, Gunjur and Sanya. But yet still, as we are talking, our field that is being sponsored by GFF is still into limbo. Because a lot of us, if these 2 division teams have matches, they have to travel down to Brikama, even our own home gyms. So you can see the stressful nature. With all the bonuses that we are entitled to develop, the grassroots sport is also limited. So these are some of the problems that the people of South is also looking into. And equally, we have realized that now with the potential dividends that can be driven from blue economy, the fishermen are not used to the usual catch that they used to have. Now we have seen systematic shift in terms of that production. What do? These fishing boats are now used as a medium to transport human from West Coast, coming from the Gambia to Spain. So you can see, if checks are not put in place in order to revitalize some of this sector, then man must live. We must devise certain means to ensure that we got other productive ways to get ourselves into a better hand. So if you look at that, you realize that an individual, if you want to travel using the sea, you paid about $50,000. So a boat capacity containing the capacity of over 100 people, if you accumulate that money together, in fact, it's more recreative than going for fishing. Because if you go for fishing, you don't have good catch. So now the problem that we are facing, Combo South is now turned as the seaport for this illegal migration. So considering the Pillar 5 for recovery plan, national development plan, I think the government have to look into this sector and help the people of South and the entire Gambian youth at large for us to revitalize some of these productive base in order to ensure we have our youths keep in the Gambia to participate in full economic development. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Honorable members, moving forward, I would want to advise that where we're going to talk about migration, please let's use the generally accepted term, irregular migration. Thank you so much. Honorable Member for Brikama North.
I think it is time we stopped faking ourselves. We've been talking for far too long. Nobody has seen the outcomes so far. You see the top high-ranking people standing in front of you, giving you information that are not accurate, giving promises that would never be fulfilled, saying things that are just out of the blues. It is time we checked ourselves. We would not be able to move as a country unless we can take care of our own affairs. The reason why anybody you ask in this country will tell you we have very good policies, we have very wonderful policies, but the implementation is the problem. Do you know why the implementation is the problem? Because we do not even sponsor our own drafted things. Somebody has to come from outside to contribute, to pay for what you want to do. This person, you must understand, also has an underlying interest. The minute your interest is not in accordance with their interest, you would either have to give up your own interest and follow theirs, or you would have no money. Usually this is the problem. This is why in the Gambia, in Africa, we do things not because we want to do them, not because they are accurate, but because we have no other choice. Go to all institutions. The young people are always behind. What they call Budamala. They are the Bafenyos. All sectors. Go to the military sector, for example. Go to the police. Go to the government institutions. You find out that all the top-ranking personnel are old people. They are not young people. If you go to my constituency, for example, Brikama North, you would understand that there is an improvement. Industries are coming around the Buffalo end. Industries, massive industries. Go there, find out how many young people we have there. What is the percentage of the young people in those industries? And those that are opportune to be there, under what condition are they working? The people that own these industries mostly are not Gambians. But because the people that should put them to check are probably afraid of them, are probably receiving favors from them, and once you want to rectify their errors, you're going to have head-on collusion with them. They are going to leave your country, and you have nothing for it. The young people continue to suffer. The lands that we have are all indiscriminately taken from us, mostly by the people that are not even Gambians, to mount industries, like I said, football pitches. You go to the places like Brikama and so many other places in the Gambia, you would understand the football pitches that were there previously are no more there, all being sold. The youth has no place to do their recreational activities. The ones available.
Honorable Speaker, can I observe the honorable member? Honorable member, can I observe it?
Sit down. The ones available are being paid for. You do not have the money, you cannot use it. But when stakeholders stand in front of us, the first thing that they would say, these are done for the youth. The youths cannot even use them. We cannot talk about the security of this country without the involvement of the youth. Because we understand that the security is in the hands of our military personnel and our police forces. And these people are largely constituted by the youth. Whenever you want any physical intervention to ensure places are in check, not violence, just to ensure things are calm, you use them. But how much are we paying this security personnel? It's a question. You know, sometimes some topics are so much intertwined. I understand that we will talk about migration some other day. But at some point, you cannot talk about one of these topics without bringing the other. The reason why a lot of people are fleeing the country is not because there is no employment. That might not be the case. That might be the case at some point, but that might not be the entire case. Why do you think, if that is the case, we are having the teachers leaving their job, young teachers, leaving this place? Why do you think we are having the military personnel? Why do you think we are having the police leaving this place? We do not pay them enough. It is time we speak about these things. These are the realities we have on the ground. It is time we give them. Somebody came some other time and said, there was a robbery, and one of the security personnel happens to be the robber, for example. And you know, the person was complaining. I said, I think it is time we started asking questions. Why do we have the people that are supposed to protect us, that are supposed to stop the other individual from doing these things, now doing it? Primary question. If I have no food in my house, if I have borrowed from people, because what I have in a month cannot suffice me. I have 10 kids to send to school, or I have 5. I need to give them lunch every day. I need to give them their fares. I need to buy a bag of rice. I need to buy this, I need to buy that. There is no money in the pocket. I have borrowed from people enough. Once I have seen an opportunity, once I have seen money, I will grab it. Do not try to be divine. You are not divine, you will do it. That is the reality. You are going to do it.
Honorable member, may I please ask you to clarify, what do you mean by that? Are you in any way justifying robbery because of you do not have?
What I'm trying to say is,
please, you might want to say that again because the mic was. Honorable member, calm down. Sorry. You might, when the mic is on, your mic turns off automatically. So you might want to give it 2 seconds when I switch off the mic. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. So just to clarify this does not sanctify robbery in any way. What it means, what it's trying to tell us is that we are all human. And in human nature, it's in human nature that you consider self first. No matter what that brings to you, you consider yourself first. If you are going to die, you are not going to allow that. That doesn't mean it's good. When you do it, I cannot just come and say it's good. But we understand that you will do it. Because everybody else is going to do it. So let us ensure that we do not only have employment. Let us ensure that we have reasonable employment. The employment that will keep this person working. It is time that we stop fooling ourselves. Some of these poppycock, some of these balderdash and hogwash speeches that we always give, I think it is time we let go. Come to the table.
Point of order.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Member is speaking languages that we don't understand. And this, I know, is not Mandinka or Wolof or something. Can he clarify? He's deviating.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Member for Brikama Note.
Honorable, I think if we are to, this is an English word, dictionaries are available. I'm sorry.
Honorable member, what words do you use? Are they English words?
Sorry? I said hogwash, balderdash, and poppycock.
Are those English words?
They are English words, yes. Dictionaries are available.
Okay, thank you for the point of order, Honorable member for Serekunda. Possibly you'll be able to get clarification on that as the sessions continue. If we do not have, then it will be considered as a language that is not accepted in the House, because the only language is accepted by the standing orders actually English language, sign language, and the local language that we have. So if I cannot pronounce the words, but if they are not English, you may proceed, Honorable member.
Just to wrap up, whenever we stand in front of the people, let us tell them things that can be materialized. Let us not deceive them. Once you think you deceive people, you are deceiving yourself. It's not going to work anymore. The world has advanced far more. People smile at you when you speak. You think you have deceived them, you have manipulated only but yourself. It is time we let go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorable members. Honorable member, for that deliberation. I've received a notification that they are English words, even though they do not sound like that. So I believe you're good to go. Honorable member for Sabah Sanja.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I'm very proud, to be honest, to rise up to this August Assembly. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, may I take reference from a legend in leadership and policy maker. Can I go ahead? Okay, I will quote from legend Halifa Sallah, Honorable Halifa Sallah, who says, anything for the youth without the youth is actually not for the youth. And if you look at the recovery national development 2023 to 2027, pillar 6, human capital development. And definitely, I love what Honorable Member for Serekunda said. Now we need action. We don't need, talking. We have been talking for decades and nothing changed yet. So if you look at chapter 7, pillar 6, human capital development, we have their basic and secondary education. Honorable Speaker, you wouldn't believe what I'm saying, but definitely we the people of Sabah Sanjal, we are unfortunate. Sorry for using that word. If you look at Sabah Sanjal, it comprises with 58 villages. Only 2 senior secondary schools are there, and then both the 2 secondary schools are centered in Sanjal Ward. Sometimes we produce good students. At the end of the day, they have to travel all the way from up country to the urban country just to higher their education or further. And I believe those senior secondary schools that we have there, at least they are not enough. Yeah, we can say that they are not enough, but then we have been producing vampires in those schools. And one of those is Ibrahim Boy, Mentor Boy, is here with us. So I believe,
sorry, honorable member, I'm not sure the term vampire is what you definitely mean. Do you mind using a term that you may understand? Because I don't think there's any human that's a vampire. Thank you.
I would draw the statement, honorable. I would draw the statement, legend, sorry, let me use legend in this word, in this case. So, Honorable Speaker, what I wanted to say is, if this national development plan, if it is well implemented as the way it's supposed to be, definitely we the people of Sabah Sanjal, we are going to appreciate it. Why do I say so? Simply because we have so many people who graduated from, let's say, upper basic, but at the end of the day, they don't have the opportunity to get a good school, meaning to further in secondary education. So, Honorable Speaker, I believe the government should improve on that aspect very much. And then this national development plan, we are hoping it will be well implemented as the way it is designed, because Gambians, we are good in designing, but implementation is our problem. But I believe we will really upgrade from that. So the other thing is quality, accessible, and affordable healthcare services delivery for all. I believe we have clinics in my constituency. Let me be very specific. We don't have health centers, we have clinics. By then, if you go to these clinics, you will able to get access to, what do you call it, paracetamol. But then now it is so hard for you to go there and even get a paracetamol. What they will just prescribe, give you that paper, say, go to the pharmacy. You buy a drug for yourself. And I believe these services, we all need these services as citizens, and we are belongs to the Gambia. We are citizens in the Gambia. So the consideration of our young people down there matters a lot, and it matters me a lot. So, Honorable Speaker, I would say another thing is tertiary and higher education. If you look at in the North Bank Road, or in the whole of North Bank region, I don't believe there is a tertiary school or institution that is functioning very well. We are having one that is Farafenye, we call it UTG, but in that one, I don't think so, it is well functioning. So meaning, we still need more tertiary and more high institutions so that our young people who are down there can have access for those institutions. I believe if that is done, we will be very glad. The next thing is, we talked about sport here. We know now Gambia, definitely, we are proud to say the sporting of Gambia is doing well now, it's doing fine. Everybody is proud of us now. But I believe the inclusion matters. Our selection is based on only the urban centers. We forget about the rural Gambia. And definitely we have talented and promising young players, but then even to showcase, a venue to showcase their talent is a problem in Sabah Sanjal, definitely. In Sabah Sanjal, we only have the community fields. We don't have a field that is owned by the sport committee, or that is built, or that is found by the Ministry of Youth and Sport or any ministry there. So, Honorable Speaker, I would say definitely we really need the support of the government in that aspect, so that our young people can realize their well-being in this nation. Because without us, this nation cannot move an inch, I mean. And then we are very, 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 equipped. And we have the skills, we have the knowledge, the talent, and everything to move this country forward if we are given the opportunity to do so. So on that note, I say thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I am just going to speak on the obvious about the National Development Plan. Yesterday evening, we were looking at the budget for the National Development Plan, and we have seen an outstanding budget of $2 billion as the budget gap. And why I'm giving reference to this is because, and we have also talked about our worries and fears because of the status of the world political environment, and how we are most likely will not be able to meet that budget line. And as of now, as I am speaking, I know it will be a surprise to say young people are not a national priority in this country. We are not. We have education, we have health, we have infrastructural development, we have agriculture, which are all good. But I think young people need to be pronounced and put in policies as national priority. Why is this important? In the case we did not meet the budget line to implement the National Development Plan, that means when things are put on the table, issues of young people will not be the first to be addressed, will not be the second to be addressed, and will not even be the third to be addressed. And if the budget is exhausted, that means the issues of young people will not be addressed at all. We keep on asking ourselves why we have unfinished mini stadiums, why we have some indicators in our last national development plan, such as the establishment of 2 sporting academies nationwide, and also introducing a sporting program into the University of the Gambia, just to enrich our sporting and make sure it has become viable for young people to earn employment. And we ask ourselves why these and other things, like our youth centers are not well equipped. They're not well equipped to empower young people to their fullest potentials, because what we need to interact and prefer solutions to our problems are not met in those centers. This is because we are not a priority. I stand here today to call on government and all stakeholders to pronounce and to put in policies for young people. We're saying we are 60%. The last World Bank Human Capital Development Report has announced that 70% of the Gambia's population are below the ages of 30. We're here saying 30, we're here to saying 15 to 35 are 60. We are more than that now, because the statistic we are referring to is a statistic of years ago. Now our population has grown more than that. So if we are not a priority, I don't think as a nation we're even serious in our development agendas and priorities. So I think it's important, while we're talking about all these things, we can talk here against tomorrow. Government can put all this in policies and say we are going to do it. But the reality is every year government is not able to do all these things because we have budget constraint. Until we are a priority, then that's the time when things are put on the table. Issues of young people will be put on the table to address. If not, health will be addressed, which is important. Education will be addressed. Infrastructure will be addressed, and other things, but young people will not be addressed. And every year, we'll come back here to say, government, relook at our policies and please implement. Not that they don't want to. I'm not speaking for government, but I will say not that government don't want to implement those things. It's because the money is not available and we are not a priority. So we want to be priority number 1. We want to be at least priority number 2, so that when issues are put on the table, if our issues are not the first to be addressed, it is at least the second to be addressed. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Member for Jokadu.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I think if we are talking about national development plan here, it entails all the thematic areas that we are to discuss in this August gathering. I will start with the reduce of the rural urban migration through the centralization of basic amenities. Now, when you look at this portion under the national development plan, it is very important. Because when you look at decentralization of social amenity, it is 0%. When you go to the rural area, there is nothing like these social amenities. During my constituency consultation, I came through so many issues affecting these people, which talk about these social amenities. When you look at, we are talking about skill here. Skill. You cannot open a skilled workshop without electricity. The youths have really lamented about this. Even though they want to do welding, they will not have this, they don't have access to electricity. Go to my constituency, a constituency of 40 communities. Less than 5 or 10 communities have electricity. All the rest do not have. They only consider those on the highway. The rest who are off the road does not have these social amenities. And it is very important. When we look at these social amenities also, basic and social amenities also, it includes education. Yes, which is a key factor. And it is very important in youth development. And if you go to my constituency, they don't have access to education at all. Because there is only one senior secondary school. About 40 communities is only one senior secondary school. And that senior secondary school is not having a science lab. Don't we have the talents to also engage in science field? We have people who can venture into this science field. But how? Because they don't have access to it. They must move to the urban area. If you look at the urban area, the percentage, we have 58%. Why? Because of these social amenities are not available in our constituency level. We go for health sector. It is 0% in my constituency. And which I will not be at ease if I don't mention it here. Look at the health sector. If you look at the health sector, to access these health facilities is a big problem. Because number one, we have poor roads. The roads are very bad to the extent that even to drive a motorbike there, to ride a motorbike there is a problem. Talk less of an ambulance. And they say they have provided ambulance to the communities. Are they monitoring those ambulances? No. Because during my constituency consultation, those whom I meet, they said that they have never have access to those ambulances. Even though they call the driver, he will not pick the calls. Or sometimes he will be demanding fuel. How many of them will able to provide fuel? How many of them will able to fuel an ambulance? As poor people who are only depending on farming. How many of them? They will prefer using these donkey carts or horse carts, which is very risky to pregnant women. We have seen people, how these pregnant women and people on the young women on delivery, how they are suffering. Let's look at this ferry terminal. There is no ambulance board there, which should be there. Because there are at times which, when a pregnant woman comes or somebody who is on delivery, on labor, will have to wait for the ferry to come. If the ferry has already departed, that individual has to wait till when the ferry comes back so that she will be able to be transported, which is very risky. We have a scenario on that this year. There was a lady who was brought to SL, and that lady spent there almost the whole day. The doctors, the nurses there couldn't do anything. They said they have doctors in SL or in all the health facilities. But it is really lacking because some of these doctors will not be available when these patients are referred to these hospitals or these clinics. Because when you come there, sometimes you say you have to wait for the doctor to come. You have to wait for the doctor to come. This lady was there for the whole day until 2 o'clock when this ferry has already closed. That was the time that they detected that these people, they cannot do anything anymore with her health, with her issue. So they decided to call the needy officers. Those were the people who brought their board and then transport this lady around 2 a.m. sorry, which was very undone because the lady even lost the child and she could have lost her life too through this. This is very important. We go to sport. Sport in my community is zero because they don't have where to showcase their talent. We have the community of Kuntayadi who have allocated 300 hectares. For the past 3 years, there is no, 3 to 5 years, there is no single stone which is laid there. And they have already sacrificed their own lands and have allocated it for the Ministry of Youth and Sport to at least build something where these youth can be able to showcase their talents. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Jokado. Honorable nominated member for West Coast.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the National Development Plan, in as much as it is diverse and it has a lot of issues it entails so many things, I'll just speak on the women and children aspect of it. Because looking at the youth age bracket, you have from 15 to 35. So 15, 16, 17 are all children and they're still young people. So, Honorable Speaker, I've had many honorable members talk, but sometimes I wonder and I ask, how serious are we as a nation? How serious are we as a country? Looking at the policies and programs that we have, we are all agreeing that it is a general thing when it comes to implementation of policies and programs. Making policies is one thing, implementation is another thing. And we will not be considered as a serious nation or country if we are not prioritizing issues of children and women. We have the Women Amendment Act. We have the Children's Act 2005, amended 2016. The Gambia has ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1990, and also ratified a regional instrument, which is the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. We have all this beautiful ratification, all these beautiful charters, all these beautiful conventions, and when it comes to the implementation part, it is not there. So I feel like in the National Development Plan, in as much as people have been consulted, I think there needs to be a better consultation when it comes to women and children matters, so they could be inclusive and captured. Because these are people that are mostly vulnerable to situations. These are vulnerable sector of a society. These are people that are not able to take part in decision-making processes that concerns them. So women and children, knowing how well, if empowered, how well they can participate or how well they can influence decision-making processes and contribute to the socio-economic development of this country. The National Development Plan, in any way, considering the conventions that this country has ratified, should be inclusive when it comes to women and children matters. These people should be prioritized because obviously they would be able to stand out to defend their country. They can contribute in as much as other genders could, so that we can close the gap of inequalities. So I believe with what I would recommend is that government should take issues of women and children as serious as any other issues, because these are a sector of a society that are mostly vulnerable. And then they should also fulfill their commitments towards the ratification of certain international, regional, and even national legal instruments to empower women and children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Honorable nominated member for persons with disabilities.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I know when I stand up, before I speak out, people already get a sense of my direction. And of course, I will start with my slogan that disability is possibility. Of course, there is a lot of possibility in disability if young people in the country with disabilities are given greater opportunities. You know, when you talk about the National Developmental Plan, I wonder, what is the plan without inclusion? How do you expect a plan to capture our demands, a plan that do not include the needs and the desires of young people with disabilities in this country? I don't know what is inclusive about your plan when young people with disabilities are still struggling, are still scrambling to get better educational facilities. I don't really know what is still inclusive about your plan when women and children with disabilities are still scrambling to get better health facilities in place. I don't really know what is still inclusive about your plan when young people with disabilities are still scrambling in the country to get access to public sector or governmental institutions in this country. I don't know what is really inclusive about your plans when young people with disabilities are still scrambling to be able to get perfect mobility aids, when they are still scrambling to get better communication system. I don't know what is still inclusive about your plan if young people with deaf and hard of hearing in this country cannot able to communicate to their peers without proper communications tools put in place. I don't know what is still inclusive about your plan when young people with disabilities are still scrambling to get better employment opportunities in this country. I don't know what is still inclusive about your plan when everybody forget about the sector of disability. And to remind this August gathering and to remind the government and the caregivers and service providers, we are the most important sector in the country, whether you know it or not. But before you can understand what we can do, before you can able understand and recognize the potential of young people with disabilities, before you can understand how much we can able to contribute towards national development, you have to include us. But you don't have to use us as a subject of decoration, an object of or tool of trying to raise funding. It's happening in this country from the government level to private sector. A lot of young people organizations, a lot of governmental institutions are now using young people or people with disabilities to raise funding. During their pre-planning stages, we are never included, except when it comes to implementation of their activities. Now they bring us as beneficiaries. We don't want to serve as beneficiaries of any project in this country. We want to serve as the leaders of any development project that is coming for the young people of this country. But this is not really happening. Like I said always, our country will never be equitable. This country will never be productive. This country will never be considered as a democratic state
this country will never be considered as an inclusive state when young people with disabilities are set aside because of their disability. We don't have to look at our disabilities to judge what we can really contribute. We have to look at what we can able to do. Give us the chance. And everybody can be part of this family. We don't pray for it, but let's think about it. I will give you a statistic that I am able to arrange from a research that I've conducted in Uganda. Because of the civil war, the Ugandan government are able to now employ about 47 people with disabilities because of the war, because most of the people that they employed are now living with disability because of the aggression. So could you imagine, without war in Uganda, those young people will not be employed. So we don't pray for such in the Gambia, but it is always important to lay a plan that will support people that are living with disabilities now, later, and in future, because you can never tell. We don't have to advocate about disability only when we are considered as persons with disabilities. No, we want to see that, all right? We want to see that our needs are considered in every development plan in this country. But that is not really happening. How many of us are struggling every day? How many of us get the better education? How many of us? How many of us cannot still go to school? How many of us? How many of us are even allowed to work in public offices? How many of us? How many of us are given the chance to contest during elections? How many of us are given the opportunity to take part in leadership in this country? What is inclusive about your plan? I don't know. I don't know what is really inclusive about your plan. If our demands are not met, if you have ratified the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and you still domesticate this convention, of course we have the Disability Act. So what is going on? What is the government doing? What is the civil society doing? What are the advocates of this country doing? You know, sometimes I'm really disappointed if gatherings are organized for young people and a lot of young people will give a beautiful speech about their successes, about their stories, but none of them will even talk about disability. None of them. I don't know. None of them talks about disability, but we are very important and we can take part in nation building. We can take part in national development. We have seen a lot of classical examples. We have seen a principal magistrate being a visually impaired in this country. That is a sign for you. We have seen a National Assembly member being here as visually impaired. And they're perfect. They delivered well in office. They've been contributing a lot. And we are paying tax, of course, even though we have only 2 jobs in this country. That is, one, if you are visually impaired, maybe get the chance to be at the college. Because the head of the college at the time was also living with disability. So she was able to accommodate visually impaired teachers. And what we don't encourage is to go back to our schools for visually impairment and start teaching, because the same community for these people with disabilities, we cannot able to create a lot of awareness. That is why—
Point of observation.
Can you please sit down, sir, please? This matter is very sensitive and I want us to discuss about it, because most of the deliberations have been made here. None of you talk about disability. You tend to forget about it. But I'm sending a reminder as a disability rights defender. Of course, I'm living by it. Who feels it knows it. Yeah? So we have to talk about it. So we have only 2 jobs in this country for people with disabilities. One is to be a beggar on streets. But how about if you don't want to be a beggar, neither a teacher? What jobs are waiting for us? Sometimes you wonder, even you want to further our education to tertiary level. Education is an investment, of course. It's an investment plan. You don't expect me to pay that tuition fee because the government at no point is providing any scholarship opportunities for young people with disabilities that are high school graduates in preparation for higher education and employment. We don't have it. But from our little monies that we have to invest on ourselves. But after tertiary education, what jobs are waiting for us? There's no better job. So we have to look into that matter. We have to look into matters of employing young people with disabilities. We don't want to be beneficiaries. We want to be benefactors. We want to be seen from there. We want to bring people to light. We want to show you how much you can able to do. There is a lot of young people with disabilities that are very much potential, but they are hiding in our homes. Nobody wants to bring them down. They want to bring them in to participate. Because sometimes our laws are very general and they are very discriminatory. If you are planning for people with disabilities, if you want to cater for us, it should be specific. You don't have to generalize any development and expecting that it includes everybody. When you said vulnerable, less privileged society, this entails a lot of people. This includes a lot of people, those with disabilities and those without even disabilities. But disability matters to be specific in our every national agenda. Of course. How many of us will want to support a candidate with disability? And I've been saying this. Maybe someday I will get the chance to be the president of this nation. All my members of the cabinet will be people with disabilities. Of course, all the members of my cabinet will be people with disabilities. Not to discriminate other set of society, but to tell people how much we can able to do. If we can have people with disabilities as nurses, as teachers, as health workers, what position can we handle in this country? It's not there. It is not there. So understand that any development that does not include us, it is not really for us. And you don't expect when you implement it will reflect on us. No, it's not going to work because you don't know our problems. You don't know what we're going through. You don't involve us. You only use us to make funding and implement your programs. And later you write your beautiful reports. Of course, persons with disabilities are included. We are never included. You want to be benefactors, not beneficiaries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. I will now call on Honorable Nominated Member for Basse.
It is said that you cannot go back to where you're from to make change, but you can start where you are to change the ending of every story. I believe it's high time we start reminding the government that the youth constitute of more than half percentage of the population of the Gambia. And it is very crucial to prioritize us. The new National Development Plan is well designed. Everything has been well written. But are we expecting that all what is written in the National Development Plan will be implemented according to the way it should be? Youths are not prioritized in this country. And we know that as youths, we are very crucial in every nation building and economic development. During my community consultation, I met a lot of people in URR, and it was a pity to hear that I will not name the school, I will not name the constituency, but there's a particular school in URR that a girl stopped going to school because she cannot get access to sanitary pads. Whenever she's menstruating, she has to stay at home. And she always misses maybe 5 to 7 days of school. And before she come back, her peers have already go beyond her. She cannot cope with that because every month she has to miss 5 to 7 days of school due to menstruation. Is that fair, honorable members? We are all seated here. Maybe some people are even menstruating, but they are sitting comfortably because they have a pad. While others in URR cannot even get a cloth to use, talk less of a sanitary pad. Coming to the collect in URR, the collect is built, and it's only School of Education that is in the collect. What is this telling us? Is the government telling us they want all the students in URR to be educationalists? No, we also want School of Nursing. We want School of Public Health. We want School of Agriculture in the college. The other thing is that we are here to represent our people. We did consultations and a lot of things were said. As my fellow nominated honorable member just listed here and said about the people with disability. Not only the people with disability. If the government of this country want us or the country to be successful in the future, they must prioritize the youth, put effort in the youth, provide funding for the youth, provide scholarship for the youth. Scholarship needs to be given to the youth for them to go outside and study, or even stay in the country here and study. We all know the cost of university fees. And considering the schools in URR, we are not given the same opportunity and the same quality of learning when considered in these urban areas here. We don't have enough qualified teachers. We don't have enough qualified teachers. Those that are there are trying their level best, but still we provide good results. After providing good results, it is very difficult for us to further our education. One, because we don't have funding. The other thing is that the fields that we want to study are not available in the region. And it is very difficult for someone in URR who don't have any family members in the course here to come and stay with anybody, because we all know how things are going. And it is very difficult to stay with people that you don't know, because I cannot say the world have changed, but people have changed. You cannot be staying with someone. Emotionally, you will not be okay. Physically, you cannot be okay. Even want to go to school, they will not give you. How can you focus on your education? Illegal migration is one of the issues that is supposed to go.
Member, could you kindly use the term irregular migration?
Sorry for that. I withdraw this statement. Illegal migration is one of the pressing issues right now in URR, because most of the people in the community are not there anymore. Even though there are a lot of Tibet schools prepared, bring in the community, but after attending that Tibet school, what is there for you? How can you go to the skill center and learn? After attending the skill center, they don't give you any funding, they don't give you any startup. Even the little money that you have, it cannot benefit you with anything. So it is very important that in a nation that more than half of its population are youth, government is supposed to put more emphasis and priority on them. Because if half of the nation are left aside and all priorities are laid on other institutions or whatsoever, without putting us, the youth, into consideration. So what is the future of the nation if half of its population are not considered when taking decisions or making plans for them? As I was just saying, we have to keep remembering, making the government to remember that youths constitute more than half of the percentage of this country. And coming to hospitals, medicines, or whatsoever, according to reports that were said yesterday, 1,000 women out of 100,000 women die in every day during labor. What is that calling for, honorable members? Looking at the situation, women are dying in other aspects, but talking about labor, 1,000 women die in every 100,000. Why is that happening? We need to question ourselves. We need to question the government. Why are people not dying in other parts of the countries? Maybe in other countries you have 7%, and in the Gambia here, 1,000 people are dying out of every 100,000. That calls for attention. Most of us are women here, and it is a very big concern for us. How many of us will say here, when I get married, I will be safe to get pregnant, deliver my child in a very safe manner? So let's consider ourselves. We are always talking, and we have been talking. So it's high time that we start calling for actions, like the honorable member for Serekunda just mentioned. I think they said action speaks louder than voice, but we are just talking, no actions. And we have to find ways in which whatever we say here today in this parliament counts and is implemented. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorable member. Honorable member for Funi Bondali.
Each one teach one, spread the word of love for the Gambia, our homeland. Iko nila paka safa, ika funding kele kumandi. Nila paka bungolo, sembe dogo sita, ika funding kele kumandi. Nimman sa la paka tara ala palasoto, aka funding kele mobilize. Pure cartel fire. But nimman sa tara fasita. Mansa ganyina funding kella la munga ma ako funding kella noise on lesiada. Back in 2016, the youth were in the forefront to chant for changes, but at the end of the day, it became a changes, and it became a havoc for the youth of the nation. We are not considered. I was sitting here calculating, and the belief is the National Development Plan, sometimes they design it to impress the donors that we have, these are the things we have for the youth of the nation. These are the things we have for the children of the nation. And these are the things we have for the women of the nation. At the end of the day, they will not even consider that part. In anywhere you go to this country, there's a problem. At the end of the day, what we normally do is we will not even talk. We only sit down and be calculating whether we are going to pay the fee of $50,000 to Spain. The reason why many young people are leaving this country is that they have injected in their system that this land, it is not for us as the young people of the society. They inject this thought in us that for you to make it on earth, you have to leave this country. But sometimes I will sit down and say that even if they want to push us outside, we will stay. Because we have the belief that we can change this land. We can change this land differently. And it's sometimes sad in that if you are a youth, before being in power, you speak our language, telling us that when I go into power, this is what I'm going to do for youth. But as you get in, you start to live a very vibrant life. You ignore us. Sometimes our calls are even ignored. That is the time they will start using private numbers so that we cannot call them. They are the only people that can get access to us. I will tell you, go to Fonyi. You have a very good vast land. But that vast land, the owners of the land will tell you that this land belongs to us. But that land, it is only their bed. I have the belief that if Minister of Agriculture has this collaborative understanding with the alcalos of the village to, for the alcalo to give the Minister of, Agriculture a very, vast land, fence it, and do a very meaningful agriculture. When you said youths go back to the farm, it doesn't mean that, we will be there using the dabanding. No. You have to, mechanize it, put it into modern world so that we can feel it. Now, if you employ 100 youths in that garden, when they do their transplanting or whatsoever, the seedlings start coming up. If you want to encourage those youths for them to leave that garden, they will not want, because they have seen that, the future has come and their seedlings are, germinating, and it is a future for them. That's high time we tell everybody that the young people of this nation are losing hopes. Even those who are doing skills here. I'm a graphic designer, I do different skills. I'm a tailor too. But sometimes what I'm going to tell you is, even us who are doing the skill work here, they have the belief that they will inculcate this in our minds that here is not a land for you. My brother, leave. At the end of the day, we will sell our materials, take the back way. And back way, it is a very risky land. For the government or for the National Development Plan to feel us and energize us and put us at the right time. To put us, energize us, encourage us, motivate us, and tell us that not that you are the youth of tomorrow. No, we are both youths of today and tomorrow. This is my take. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable Member for Comoros.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, members of this August Assembly. I would first of all like, before I delve into the recovery focus NDP, to first of all look at the NDP that we have, from 2018 to 2021, because it's important we make a reflection. And then with that, going by the outcomes, I'm somebody that is very appreciative of effort. We will all acknowledge that there are some little progresses that are made. Nonetheless, as alluded by most honorable members here, judging by the existing realities that are sparking the level of frustration within the youthful folk, one would have no choice but to question whether there is any effort at all to better the lives of young people in this country since the new dispensation came in place, let's say 5 years ago. And then my argument is, here we do not have any excuse because the young people of this country are willing. And the excuse of funding is never enough. Economics will tell you that ones are unlimited, but resources are limited. So resources, funding will never be enough. But the problem actually lies in priority, prioritization of the welfare of young people, as the Honorable Deputy Speaker mentioned here. The prioritization of the young people is what is missing. That is the problem, and that's where the problem lies. Because when we talk about the problems of young people, you realize that they are interlinked. You have the problems of migration links to the poor education system, the unemployment or underemployment, and so on. So there are so much link. And then, just like I mentioned, the willingness of the youth is already there. We cannot question the willingness of the young people. The young people have led initiative. Is there prioritization that is missing on the part of the government? Okay. Now, to quote justifications of this, we look at the TVET situations in this country. Last sittings, honorable members stood here and talk about the establishment of TVET institutions as one of the solutions to unemployment and irregular migration and the like. And then the emphasis was not only the establishment, but establishment of standard TVET institution. If you look around the country, the TVET institutions that we have is lacking standard in so many aspects. And the recent report from the institution I do not remember have shed light on that. So that is a cause for concern, which really needs to be looked at going forward. We know we cannot relive past days. Nor can we reverse the sun. What has happened in the NDP previous is already done, but it's about time we reflect seriously on it. And then going forward, we just don't have an a recovery-focused NDP that is beautified with beautiful grammars and all that, but we work towards making it a reality. So that is one thing. Now, when you come to the issue of unemployment, it's sickening. It's sickening, the issue of employment, and then irregular migration. The rate at which it is going, and then you come to realize that some of the skill centers or some of the institutions that are set up to address these things are not given any priority. I quote an example from a constituency. There is this fish meal that is established there by the FAO, in partnership with the Fisheries Ministry, about 4 years ago. And still, up to date, that fish meal is non-functional. The machine is there, the entire structure is there, And the machine is gathering dust and rusting day by day. And as time goes on, I'm telling you, for you to operate that machine, it may require the maintenance costs that could even buy another machine for another constituency. And then this is a project that could facilitate the employment of more than 100 people for a start. That is just for a start, a fish meal. We all know the issues surrounding the skyrocketing prices of daily meals like the fish and others. And this is a project that is there already finished, but because of lack of startup capital, nothing is being done about it, and it is still there. Just to have a startup capital for this project to go, and then young people are employed into it. It's not done, and this is very, very sickening. So there are a lot of issues, and most of them have already been dealt on. I don't need to go further into all these things, but what I would want to say to those in positions of power and influence is that every effort of development that is devoid of youth participation, involvement, or prioritization is bound to fail. That should ring at the back of our minds in every decision making, in every project, in every development effort that we make. And before I sit down, I wouldn't do justice. This is a concern that I've had for so long. The honorable member, the honorable nominated member representing persons with disabilities talks about the marginalization. And in the National Development Plan Recovery Focus, inclusion is mentioned there. But then inclusion doesn't have to be only written in words. It has to be practiced. And this is where the problem is in this country. And one of the things that I've observed, most of you have also been a witness to, a very disheartening situation was when I read that the national team of the Deaf Association were not able to participate in an international event that they have qualified in because of lack of funding. This should not be acceptable. Everybody should raise a concern on this. But so many people were quiet on this. And this is so unacceptable. Going forward, inclusion is captured there. Let it be inclusion in practice, just as it is inclusion on the papers. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Honorable Member for Kiang West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. In any society where youths are not empowered, forget about development. And here we are today to deliver, to make deliberation on the national development plans. If you look at national development plans, you have the empowerment and social inclusions, and that's it, leaving no one behind. And in my constituency, Kiang West, if you look at the education sector, it's too alarming. There are 3 senior schools in that district: Nyoro Jatawa, Keneba, and Karantawa. And Honorable Speaker, if you visit those schools, there is not equipped science and IT lab in those schools. And we say that science and IT or innovations is also very key for our national development. How can we develop? If the young people do not learn those basic elements from the senior schools, where are we heading to? So I believe it is also important, the MOPSI, that's the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, with their partners, to monitor those schools and establish a very equipped science and IT lab in those schools. Mr. Speaker, apart from that, every year, MOPSI, or Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, gives scholarships to teachers to go and pursue their bachelor degree at the university. But it is so sad, after completion of those degrees, to have them back to those constituencies to go and serve and those children, and it's affecting them a lot. If you look at some of the senior schools in that district, the performance is very bad because of insufficient of teachers. And in that, I think the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education should come with a proper monitoring policy to ensure that any teachers that is sponsored by them have to go back to the rural area to go and teach, because we need equality treatment, both rural and the urban centers. And in terms of youth empowerment and development, Honorable Speaker talked about poultry farmers, but I think that entrepreneurship development is key to reduce unemployment rate in this country.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member.
The Honorable Member for Kiang West just addressed me as the Honorable Speaker. Am I taking your position now?
Thank you.
Sorry for that, Honorable. Sorry for that. Yeah, so we believe that...
Honorable Member, you may want to withdraw the address.
Honorable, but I have withdrawn. Of Serekunda, I have withdrawn. Thank you very much. Lobby one, I will also be sent out, right? The issue of entrepreneurship development, I feel like, Honorable Speaker, there should be that assessment by the government of the Gambia. Those that are doing poultry, let them be empowered. Those that are doing agriculture, let them be empowered. And those that are involved in fishing and other innovations, let them be empowered. If that is done, then I believe that employment will be thing of past in this country. And again, coming to the human capital development, in my constituency, Honorable Speaker, we don't have any skill training centers. And these have forced a lot of youth to move from Kiang to other part of the Gambia, or especially in the urban centers, to go and learn skills. And I feel that it is very important for us to have the skill training centers in my constituency, so that they can stay and also learn skills there. And before I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Youth and Sport has built mini stadium in Kiamis, and it is credit for them. But what we are lacking there is that we need other facilities, such as a venue for volleyball and also basketball and other sporting activities. This is also should be looked at in order when we are making our recommendation. And in terms of forestry, illegal logging and bush firing is another problem in my constituency. And sometimes that we do not cause the bushfire, but it is coming from our neighboring countries, Senegal or Casamas, and it entered to the Gambia. And I feel like there should be proper mechanism of monitoring our forestry, that is the Kiang West National Park and the German forest that is there, in order to protect our forest and also our wildlife, our animals in the bushes. So these are some of the things that I feel like we should also look at. Honorable Speaker, in terms of youth empowerment, we have a lot of young people that are involved in volunteerism. So I am suggesting to NYC, that is National Youth Council, to recognize the effort of any youth that is doing effective volunteerism by giving them a sort of awarding ceremony and giving them certificate. That will also increase the number of volunteerism in order to have a national development. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. May I please bring it to the attention of this Honorable House that we're moving very close to the end of this part of the debate, and I would therefore appeal to the Honorable Members to shorten their submissions as short as possible as we move forward. And on that note, I would want to invite the Honorable Member for Upper Salon. Honorable Member for Jarawes.
Okay.
Sorry, it seems Honorable Member for Upper Salon is set. Yes, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. After I did my constituency consultation, my recommendation will go to the education sector in my constituency. I had the consultation, and where I invited a lot of our students at the school. I was so sad that to have students complaining about they don't have textbooks in schools. If students did not have textbooks in school, how can they learn? So it's a big, I was so sad to hear that our student does not even have textbooks. The other thing is, in my own constituency, especially Pancham village, our school is not even fenced. This school, munga duge fulane. When we are learning, mbami nyungi fele, fasi nyungi fele, luneka ngay ji si biir school bi. And we are having primary school there. Are those kids safe in that school? Pour ñooñu nekk noonu si school bi. They are not even safe. Because school bi nga xamantene amut fence bi bum daano be léegi kenn waxut si dara. So it is just left just like that. And the other issue is students complaining about water. They only have one bowl in the school, Panchan school, only one borehole. And that borehole cannot serve the school. The thing is, the entire village, so I'm appealing to the Ministry of Education to help us. And in my constituency also, not only considering Panchang, as we invite other people from different communities about these issues of traveling. Like students will be traveling from Leba to Panchang for schooling. So it's so heartbreaking that students are still struggling to travel from this school to another to seek for education. And I am appealing for them to help us with that. And the other thing is, my other recommendation will go to the government. I'm pleading to the government to involve us, the youth, in policy making. Because if we, the youths, and we are not involved in policy making, all the policy makers, they are above the youth, age bracket. And if that happens, when they are making policies, who is there to represent us? Nobody is there to represent us. Meaning that if we don't have a representative there, we cannot be considered. And we will always be left behind. As far as we don't have a representative when it comes to policy making. So I'm appealing to the policy makers, please, let them consult us, let them engage us when it comes to policy making, so that our issues will be discussed as the Honorable Deputy Speaker said. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. May I now call on the member for Buduka Kunda?
Honorable Speaker, first I am going to talk about, like everybody is saying, the government is not taking us seriously. The government is not taking the youth seriously. Like, why will the government take us seriously if we are not taking ourselves serious? I will first start with the consultation. If I can remember, we are asked to do our regional consultation or constituency consultation. Just few of us that you can count. So meaning we are not taking ourselves seriously, then no one will take us seriously. The saying said, practice what you preach. You cannot preach what you practice. If you don't preach what you practice, then no one will follow you. So the other thing that I will talk about is about the educational sector. Like Honorable Speaker, as a young girl growing up and starting your schooling in nursery 1, up to grade 12, grade 12, you know how you struggle during your WAS exam to pass the exam. Pass exam, and with your good results, now you want to enroll in the University of the Gambia. You don't have anyone to pay for you. The payment for the university is expensive. It's very, very expensive, and not all of us can afford it. So it's better we use the private institution to further our education than using the University of the Gambia, because now the private institutions are more cheaper than the university. So the government needs to look into that. If we still want to continue with this payment in the university, this huge amount of money, then it's something else. Most of us will be dropped out, and we will not see any solution than using another way. Sincerely, obviously I will go and use something else. And as far as I start my schooling from nursery 1 to grade 12, after grade 12, I did not have anyone to help me. Obviously, I will use the bag way or do any other thing, or even sell drugs to be able to do what I want.
Honorable member, bara ñu nga leral fofu non. Ndax ñaka liggéey ak ñaka am ko la fayal ndax lool mo wara tax nga dem ba koy wala nga jaay drogue bara ñu nga leral fofu.
Okay, basically I am not saying if you don't have anyone to pay your school fees you should go and do this. These are possibly things that are happening in our country. We have a lot of drops out that are so intelligent, but so buy a school. Like if you are used to going to school and you don't see any ways that you will go to school, what are you going to do, honorable members? Obviously, find a solution. Wala nga hold for having to am halis. So it is. And the other thing is,
honorable member, sa wax bi leerul de. Dama bëgg nga leeral ne nga ñaka am halis wala am ku la fayal war tax ngay jaay drogue wala.
Loolu waru tax ngay jaay drogue. But what I'm saying is these are possibilities. These are possibilities. Not having someone to pay your school fees doesn't mean that you should go and sell drugs, but these are possibilities. Because obviously, if I'm not going to school, I'm not doing anything, I will always go and find a way to get money. And that's the hard fact.
Honorable member.
Point of observation.
Honorable member, please use the right way. I want you to be very specific that if you to find a way to get money, it should be the right way.
Yeah, it should be the right way. But what I'm saying is these are possibilities that can happen.
Yes, there are possibilities. Because I'm local affair, you should use another way, and then you make a way we use.
Yeah, but still these are possibilities. I'm not saying that if you don't have someone to pay your school fees, you should go and sell drugs or do anything. But I am saying these are possibilities. If I'm sitting at home not doing anything, if I see a way to get money, obviously I will.
Point of observation, honorable member, please.
It's not accepted. I want to continue with my deliberations.
Honorable member, jaay drogue ko def ci dekal loi bi dina la duma.
Dolu degala.
Wow. So it's good nga leral ne comme ken warta jaay drogue ak lu munti ñaka ñak.
That's true. Ken waruta jaay drogue ak lu munti. But I am still saying what I
remember, possibility.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, it's fine then. The other thing is about the people with disability in our educational sector. Like if you look at the Gambia, there is only one school that we can point finger at and say, the school of deaf. That is, in fact, it's very specific. It's for the deaf. So meaning...
Point of order.
Yes, honorable member.
As it is, there is not only one school for the deaf. As much as I see the point you're going to come to, and it is something that interests me, but as of now, we have 4. 2 that are actually very specialized for only deaf students, and then 2 that have it's general, but then they have actually inculcated a special place for people with hard of hearing. So the 2 that are actually specifically for the deaf students are the one in Carnifing here, KM, the one in West Coast, and then the one in SL, and then the one in, Sorry. Okay, we have another one. Okay, I can't remember the region. It is St. Joseph that is actually hosting them. Yes. In UR. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you for the clarification. The other part I want to talk about is changing of our syllabus. You cannot, if you start your schooling, you start from ABC. You cannot have different syllabus in nursery, different from primary, different from senior, and even different from the university. I mean tertiary institution. It's not making sense. It's high time we look into our syllabus and know what we are giving out. We cannot be there cramming diagrams, and you exactly know that if you go to tertiary institution, you will not be there cramming diagrams. It's something that we need to look at. And I will talk about the way our results are marked during this GABEC exam and the WAS exam. It's confusing. You will sit for your exam and you will be so proud that like you will be sitting with hope, results again, I will make it. So all of a sudden you take your paper and see something else. It's crazy. The government or the Ministry of Basic Education need to look into that if we want our country to be developed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Honorable
Speaker.
Honorable Member please, you can only ask for my permission to speak by raising your tag. I know you are quite frustrated to talk. Honorable nominated member for Banjul.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, a plan for the youth without the involvement of the youth is not for the youth. The National Development Plan, I just can't understand if they try or not, because we are still repeating those issues every time we resume here. Honorable Speaker, we must be the priority. Yes, so that's what they should put first when it concerns the youth. Honorable Speaker, what I'm coming to speak about, it concerns everybody. But specifically, I'm talking about my region, the schools that are being closed just for business purposes. Honorable Speaker, I will give an example in Banjul. There's a school in Banjul called Muslim High School. It has been closed for business purposes, I will say. The ports were the one who have that connection with the school. I don't know if the government is involved or not, but they have just sold that school, and they know that it is beneficial for those who are crossing the ferries to come to Banjul to further their education. Honorable Speaker, I'm saying that in short, def nañ ko benn yoon kon buñ ko ñaar loolu rek lay ñaax government. Thank you.
Jërëjëf, Honorable Member. I will take Honorable Member for Jara West.
Good afternoon. Honorable Speaker, I will not say much because I think what I've wanted to say have been said already, but I want to deal with the issue of undergraduates, the university students that are graduating from the university and have been seated for years just to secure a job for themselves, or even there will be a second choice or an assistant to someone who is older than him or her, just because in the name of you are just new in the system, I don't think you can do this. We will just attach you to someone. If that person left and someone also who is older than you will come and you will be an assistant to them. I don't think that will be something if we want a national development for ourselves. We cannot address the issue of unemployment. Employment here means not even government alone can employ everyone. I went to Staples the last time, Staples, where they do sell these materials, the office cares and stuff. I went there, the whole place were like only the nurse, or is it nurse or Lebanese? And I asked, sorry, kuneka fi ku xamantene nit ku ñuul la. He said, excuse me, xana nit ku ñuul mo fi mom. I said, wow. Xana nit ku ñuul mo fi mom. And the only nit ku ñuul we have here is the cleaners. Mane lol pour lan. He said, because lol lañ fogné
is better because our job here, near. I said, no. The government needs to have policies that need to address this issue. If anyone wants to operate in this country here, at least maximum of 10 Gambian youths have to be in the top front. Like, we cannot be cleaners. No, we cannot be cleaners.
Sorry, honorable member, I want to be sure. You want to say maximum or minimum?
Maximum, at least minimum.
Minimum, okay.
At least minimum should be 10. But the only Nikunyul that we found there was the cleaners and the other stuff and the other mini or low position that we have. The check writer was a Nar or Lebanese. Who again? The top rankers were the Nars, as if we are just nobody. And those people, we negotiate with them. At least the government has to have a very good policy whereby this will guide us or guide them to at least employ some the Gambian people that are in that business sector, so that at least we can have employment for ourselves, and at the end of the day, we can use that to develop ourselves. You cannot just come and operate in our country and you said you will take your as cleaners. As in what? As in what? And also the security sector too. The government has to invest more in our security. And also our music and movie industries. Our movie in Nigeria, the richest, I can say individual richest are the movie producers, movie actors, singers. They are developing. Because of that individual development, the country too is at least ahead. They are moving at least step by step. But you cannot just put everything in the government and say we are all hoping to get employment from the government, and at the end, it's not working. Maybe the salary will not favor us, or the job situation too will not favor us. But if the government too is investing in this movie industry, Kitabu and the people will at least have something, a very big theater where they can act their movie and also employ other Gambians. The government alone cannot do this employment, and for national development to happen, they have to invest more on youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honorable member. I will now call on honorable member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Honorable Speaker, members of this August Assembly, I stand here before you today disappointed as a young person of the Gambia, disappointed for the fact that we are only considered in theory, but never considered in practice. A young person has a lot of ambitions, energy, and drive towards attaining a better space for a better country wherever they find themselves. The Gambia has been blessed with a population of over 50% of young people who are not only vibrant, but also educated and have the will to serve their country. At some level, we've been given space, but only to advocate and influence certain decisions. On the more crucial aspects of governance and decision-making, we are only pushed at the sideline, and in some instances, we are suppressed and oppressed to the point that we cannot even speak. The democracy of a country is only effective if the young people are allowed to express themselves in a way that they feel that they are being governed, whether be it wrong or right. Because that is the only way the government will be informed as to whether they are going through the right trajectory towards attaining a national development plan. And this brings me to say that we can only progress as a nation if we consider each other as brothers, sisters in development, and to also ensure that we come together and combine our efforts, listen to each other, extend our arms to be able to be more gracious and compassionate. It is the only way that we will be able to convince the state or the actors in the state that we put as our representatives so that they will be able to hear us. But if we stand disunited as young people, it will be very difficult for us to influence policies, much more decisions that are being made on our behalf.
Honorable Speaker, can I observe the honorable member?
As I was saying, to ensure that we have a more vibrant and productive nation towards a development that includes everybody, we as young people and actors that are representing our voices and our interests in various sectors of the government agencies and parastatals, and of course the private sector, we need to ensure that we do not forget each other too as young people. I am disheartened to feel that there was a time in the past that myself and some other honorable members of Cardiff Municipality, in commemoration of the International Youth Day, came together to be able to meet our brothers and sisters within the Gambia prisons. Because these are people that are always forgotten. Let us not forget that the prison is being established for correctional activities to be done so that the states will be able to have a more vibrant young people, irrespective of the mistakes that they may have, done in the past. However, it is not a place that we all yearn to be, but it's a place that any of us can find ourselves due to circumstances. But in the quest to commemorate this International Youth Day, we met people that we thought would be in a better position to stand for us and assist us to be able to attain this particular activity and make it a success, only for us to meet nothing but a wall of false generosity. And this is a very crucial thing that is disturbing our development as a state. People will give you commitment, give you high hopes, only in the latter hour for them to come and say, we are sorry, but we cannot do this. Or they will just stay mute and silent to ensure that your plan for what you want to do would fail. Honorable Speaker.
Point of observation.
Please allow me to go on.
Okay.
Honorable Speaker, it is in this country that we stood as young people and felt that we have been underrepresented. And then young people came together with the support of few other agencies and international organizations that we started the Not Too Young to Run initiative. Is it going to be a threat for government to try to enhance that particular initiative and even go as far as institutionalizing it, which will go a long way to ensure that young people are motivated towards taking part in crucial decision-making platforms that has to do with the national development of the country? Let me say this, that a national development plan that only speaks about the young people vaguely on theory would be a national development plan that will only seek to enrich the pockets of a few and push others into a life that will be very, very miserable. Honorable Speaker, on the third pillar of the national development plan that is connected to the second strategic objective of the NDP, which speaks about democratic governance. It is very saddening for us to look back in the past and see the effort and energy that the young people have invested into the drafting of the draft constitution that we all saw die in this very assembly. Young people have seen their will being represented in that particular document that was going to be very sacred. And it was going to be a document that will not only drive for a rapid development in this country, but also include a host or a lot of people, irrespective of your age, your gender, your religion, or wherever you may fall. But we were shocked to see that the people that were responsible to ensure that this particular document that is going to be so much more to the young people of the country, instead of discussing it to a certain level to be able to make amendments along the line, which is a possibility we would want to believe. But instead they decided to just push it along the sidelines and say, okay, you can wait and try again. This is me standing here today and asking all interested people that are invested in the development of this country, let's come together and ensure that and see how we will be able to engage our National Assembly members at our various constituency levels. Let's speak to them. Talk to them about this draft constitution and how best we'll be able to bring them back. If that happens, then a lot of other things that we are talking about as menaces may be able to be addressed in that particular constitution if it comes to life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member Folarikunda. Honorable members, please at this juncture, permit me to call on Honourable Member for Serekunda, the mover of the motion, to wind up the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Free up your mind and be ready to enjoy. Go on, free up your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable members, thank you very much. Honorable members, we have talked about the National Development Plan, which is a very crucial document when we looked into the future of this country. And still we know, as I alluded in the beginning of this motion, that the money that is going to implement this National Development Plan is not coming from taxpayers' pocket only, because that cannot solve this problem. So now what are we to do as a country? We are a country that depends on tax and donors to fund our projects. And we are saying that since 1965 up to today, we can no longer depend on taxpayers' money and funders or donors to implement our project for us. We all have said crucial things that have disturbed our respective constituencies. We all know and have delivered to expectation. But as I alluded, today is not the day that we came and copy and paste statistics and talked about issues and saw how eloquent we are in speaking. But I have said in the beginning that today is the day of action. And from here up to the other motions that we are moving forward, I want each honorable member, when you stand, tell us what you have done from the last sitting up to now in implementation. And today, as I stand here, I believe solely that the creative industry is one of the gateways that can really contribute massively to the economic development of this country. And it seems like our government is not really giving it the concentration and the focus that it needs. And it is the young people that are in that creative industry. I could fully remember fondly back in the 70s when the Super Eagle Band was here, roaming this sub-region and the world at large. Having that power, by then we do not even see Senegal where it stands. And I could fully remember the stories that Youssou N'Dour, the king of Mbala, today in the world, was one time in this country to seek for that knowledge. And we had it in this country, and we did not take it seriously. And we are saying, as youth of this country, that it is high time that we do not do talking. This is the time of action. Our people must be respected, must be given the opportunity that they deserve, and especially in the creative industry. Today, when you go to Nigeria, Basket Mouth is not having an office or an institution place, but the man is a millionaire because he's a comedian and he's making good use of TikTok and YouTube. We have Barhama here as a musician, Bati Wurus. But here, who does even go and subscribe? Subscribe. We use that way I'm talking here. Dama lay send ay yena affaire. Send yenen use na lay send affaire yenen. Pour yenen use ci. Pour ngeen duga fa ngeen tek tik ngeen subscribe YouTube or TikTok. Boy, it becomes a problem. So today is not about talking of eloquence. I've said it. And I'm not leaving this parliament this time around. Whoever comes here, talk about the action that you have done. We are tired. Our youths in Serekunda, when we went for our consultation, they looked into my eyes and they told me that we have given up in this country. You go in the street, they told you we have given up. Me, myself, I have given up in the educational sector. Third year, those that are in the university that know me here, I'm in third year. I'm not graduating. I myself has established the first art institution in this country. Go and check the data. Should we be the ones that should have been establishing this institution? It should have been done since before our time. We are not proud of it, but what we are saying is now that the opportunity that we have up to the next generation.
Honorable member, I might want to advise that you wind up the debate instead of introducing new, ideas as we are set to head up. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. What I'm saying is,
Honorable Speaker, point of order, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you. I stand on order 10, that is the session. The duration of each session shall be determined by the House of this committee. So, Honorable Speaker, for you ending the motion here, or allowing the Honorable Member for lower study, I term it as it's out of order. So please, can you bring it to order so that people will debate excessively on the topic?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member, for that point of order. Standing Order 13 has given the Speaker the right to suspend or adjourn the sitting at any time. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. As I summarize, I want to tell the youths of the country and also stakeholders that let us work as a team. Gambia, you know, mom. We cannot give up on this country. The moment we say that we all are leaving this country will never develop. And our youths are really dying in the pathway. Let us work together as a team. Let us make sure that we support each other's initiative and go to each other's events so that we can be able to support what we own and also celebrate our own. Let us not wait for our people to die, we celebrate them. Let us celebrate each other. And let us make sure that we go back to our constituencies and have this engagement with our people and implement the policies. And a recommendation to the government too as well. Let them build our industries. Let them build industries. Let them go back to Saro and revive it properly. Let them go to the Jahali Pacha and revive it. Let them go to this factory that is here around the Denton Bridge that I cannot name. Let them go and revive this. These are things that we know can really bring back the lives of the people. Let them make sure that the parks are able to build and the youth that are in the sport area are able to give in the opportunity. And let them look into Serekunda. Serekunda, my people are dying because the only opportunity that we have is the market, and the market is really not helping us to that extent. And our youths do not know what they own, and they are asking for it. They want the government and our leaders to tell us what do we own in Serekunda so that we can make good use of it. Because our youths are giving up teenage pregnancy bank for Paris. Hale legi gaay ngi pon. Nu gaay di pon. Bro, mo gëna.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. Honourable members, I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honourable Assembly do adopt the resolution on the government to prioritize youth in all aspects of the recovery-focused National Development Plan, NDP 2023 to 2027. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Therefore, honourable members, at this juncture, may I invoke Standing Order 13 to suspend the sitting, and we shall resume at 3:15 p.m.
Joshua constituency.